my question to you now is then, do you feel like you're perpetuating the system by being like, well, I am going to give a gift anyway, even though you don't want to?
Yeah, I mean,
This is like voting.
it is.
It's like
We're gonna leave this like, yeah, okay, like take down the episode, like don't release the episode. You're right. Holy shit.
I'm right, you're wrong. This is I'm Right, You're Wrong, a podcast about the everyday debates you have with your friends at brunch. I'm Isa Medina, and I'm a comedian. Every week, I bring on a guest co-host to debate a topic that we've all thought about during our 20s and even our 30s. Things like, are Nepo babies right or wrong? Is dating a friend's ex right or wrong? And this week, we're talking about destination weddings. And I'm so excited to have on the hosts of Good Children podcast, Andrew Muscarella,
Yes.
Joe Hegyes.
Correct.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you for having us.
The two men of Good Children.
Correct.
We're so excited to be here.
It's such a
been a long
thrill.
time coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really has been.
It really has.
Yeah, it really-
I feel
it
like I've
really
had to like
has.
chase you guys around the country to get this
You've
to
sent
happen.
many, many texts.
So
Yeah.
many texts. And it got
Yeah.
to a point where I was like,
They hate me.
and I'm just going to be annoying.
Yeah, and that was
No, you had
correct.
to be.
That was
Yeah.
correct.
You had to be because it had
Yeah.
nothing to do with you. Like we wanted to come on the podcast.
And
we
that's
just
the
are.
thing, I knew that.
Yeah.
And that's confidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we all need to be more confident.
Period.
Demi Lovato.
Yes. Okay,
You're
so
right.
today we're going to talk about destination weddings.
Yeah.
Because you guys have a lot to say about them, whether they're right, wrong. We're going to look at both sides. But before we get into it, how are your weeks going? Have you done anything right or wrong this week?
It's a really loaded question when you think about it. Have I done something right this week? Oh, I've done some ethically gray area things.
Okay.
I'm working on a fish tank. I've been building out a fish tank for a while now.
Yeah.
For at least 2 or 3 months. I've been slowly developing an aqua ecosystem. On Monday, I bought 9 shrimp,
Okay.
about the size of a pinky nail.
Shrimp?
Shrimp.
I'm not getting every single week. He's bringing a different fish.
Oh, I'm going to the fish store after this. It's like my
Different
whole
fish.
plan.
Wait, I actually have a friend who also happens to be gay. I don't know if this is like
Oh my
a
God. And they like
gay
shrimp?
male, and they have a huge fish tank, and he's
Wait.
obsessed with it. And he makes me go with him to like Petco like on
Wait,
Sundays.
if I was single, I'd be begging you to give me his number.
Oh my
Keep
God,
it in
he
mind.
also
in
has
case
a
things go
boyfriend.
wrong. Okay, well, we could
Sorry.
be friends.
But
We
you
could
guys should be
What about me?
friends.
It's like, what the fuck, you guys? That's insane.
We could be friends.
You should be friends.
That's
Okay.
sweet.
And you can be friends with my fish friend.
Okay.
And then we can do something that's like not fish related.
Yeah, like
Okay.
because
I-
I don't like love fish.
I'm
like,
not
well,
obsessed
that's
with
eating or
nasty.
like no, like I love looking at your fish, Joe. They're so sweet. Okay, anyways, talk about your shrimp.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I bought 9 shrimp, $50. That's wrong decision number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, a
9
cocktail's
shrimp,
less
they're
than that.
this big. Exactly. Yeah, I could have gotten shrimp cocktail.
Jumbo.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
like when you say shrimp, I think hungry.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
and
think-
unfortunately, so did some other guests in my fish tank.
Oh no.
So I bought these 9 shrimp. They're doing great. They're lovely. They're multicolored. And then today I woke up and said, "Why is there 1 shrimp? Why is there 1
Why
shrimp?
was it like saw?
Where's the other $46? Where did it go?" I found some tails that looked exactly like shrimp cocktail, actually, just the
no.
tail at the bottom of the tank. So I did bring life into my room only for it to be eaten by a fish that I would describe as no larger than rice pilaf, a grain of rice pilaf.
Yeah.
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 So it's been a tough day.
So
I
you're
suffered some losses.
right now trying to debate whether like you made the ethically wrong decision to introduce the shrimp into the ecosystem
Yes.
only to be murdered.
Yes.
You want a beta fish.
Well,
You
listen.
can't get the beta fish. The beta fish is gonna eat all of your other fish.
Yeah.
No, but I am preparing.
believed in the other
I am
fish?
I watch many YouTube videos on this
And I
subject.
believe you.
Yeah.
An
Yes.
unbelievable amount of YouTube videos on it. I stay up until
Mm-hmm.
2 a.m.
And listen,
researching.
I had a feeling you did.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. It might, it
give
might
that.
show. It might show. I have a backup tank for the beta.
You're drinking Red Bull because you've been on YouTube
Up
all night.
researching fish care for the past 2.5
Well,
months.
it must be really hard, like going to sleep knowing that there's like murderers on the loose in your
happening
room.
next to
Like,
my bed.
Yeah.
It's happening in my bedroom.
Yeah.
It's tough.
that's really brutal.
That is
though.
hard.
I think ultimately the shrimp that made it, and there might be more than 1 shrimp, I just haven't seen them, they'll be happy. And I think at the end of the day, I watched the life cycle complete itself. You know,
Yeah.
that fish ate.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of
Fish
like
ate.
That fish ate down.
that fish literally ate. That reminds me of like the whole thing, the trend of like people wanting to like know the food that they kill before they eat it.
Yes,
It's like
me.
it kind of made you appreciate life more.
Exactly.
Because you now see the value in like entering a community and maybe like leaving dead.
Yes, you never know. You never know when you're gonna leave dead, and I
Yeah.
think that it did wake me up to life.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, right for me, wrong for the shrimp. I'm still going to Pacific Aquarium on Delancey after this.
And I'll go with you.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
I don't think I can go every week or
Okay, it's
all
okay.
the time.
Oh, I
but
went on
but
Monday.
I'll
This is
introduce
what
you.
happened.
This is the second time
Literally
this week.
what just happened because you were saying that you're gonna pass off your gay friend to be fish
Well,
friend.
that's actually
and now
what-
you're a fish friend.
Well, I'll be a fish friend today.
Why are you
Okay.
being so possessive?
I'm sorry. Like I just felt like I had.
Don't
I
worry,
had something
Andrew.
here.
We're in this together.
Okay. You're so
He's a
right.
guest, so I have
Yeah.
to.
Okay. Yeah. I get that. I get that. I get that.
Andrew Joe Hedges.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Will they? Won't they? And that's what I love about you guys.
Yeah.
It's a what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew, did you do anything right or wrong this week?
Well, I mean, it depends on the way that you look at it, right? I went food shopping. That doesn't happen often.
That's
And
really correct.
you know what I mean? I'm normally like lately I've been Uber eating non-stop.
Oh my God.
It's bad.
It's so bad.
It doesn't help anything.
I feel
And
like when you
then-
start podcasting, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm a king.
Yeah, I'm like I'm good. No, but the thing about me is like I'm always getting the BOGO. You know, I'm
Yeah.
a sucker for a deal. So when I see BOGO, Pad CU, yeah, I'm getting two.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
And then something else that I did this week was I quit smoking weed.
Oh
and
my
you can take
God.
that as a right or a wrong, but I quit smoking weed. And I'm going to say that's right for me.
That's right for you.
Yes.
And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How long has it been?
My I Am Sober app says 3 days and
I'm sober is so dramatic.
It's a little dramatic.
It's sick. No, but I needed something that was gonna like give me notifications and ping me because I think the thing about me is I need somebody or something to hold me accountable.
Yes.
Or I won't do it.
Me too.
I won't do it. And listen, if you smoke weed, power to you. Like totally cool. Have fun.
Yeah.
But for me, it was getting to a point where I was lethargic.
Yeah.
I was lazy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it any longer.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We all have waves. I feel like everyone I know has had a wave of like going so hard on weed and then
Yeah.
they like hit that like anxiety
Yeah.
space.
The psychosis starts.
And it was happening.
And we're in like our late 20s, so it's like
It's when it really starts.
that's when it
That's when it
happens. That's when it
manifests.
sometimes like
Yeah.
this stuff happens.
Yeah.
I
And you
think
have to be-
specifically in men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank God, you guys. I caught
Yeah.
it so early.
You caught it early.
Because it would have got scary from here.
Yeah.
I would have been taking your shrimp out of the tank.
Maybe you
Maybe you
haven't.
did. It's crazy, yeah, that the shrimp tails were
Just the tail.
just the
You see me?
It looked just like a piece of shrimp cocktail.
I'm like, suck it up. I'm taking my fingers. I'm like, yeah, those shrimps were delish. It's sick.
That's crazy.
No, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Right or wrong this week? What'd you do?
Oh, great question. What did I do? I did something right, which is I went home to visit my parents.
That's very
That's really amazing.
Thank you. And I think it's so important as adults, as young adults,
Yeah.
that we remind ourselves we're still children.
We are.
We're good
correct.
We're
children.
good children.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're doing that nonstop.
Yes.
Infantilizing
Because
ourselves.
I like go home and my mom spoils me, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but she likes to cook for me.
Yes.
And we watch Netflix together.
Yes.
And it feels
What are you
so
watching?
good. She hated it actually, and actively the whole time she wouldn't stop talking shit about it. But guess, new show on Netflix.
Oh, it's the podcasting one?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Nobody wants this.
Nobody
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
this. And guess what? Nobody wanted it.
Yeah.
I watched the first 10 minutes and I was having a good time.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened
finished
after
it.
Well,
that.
do you feel like as a podcaster,
It was a little triggering.
It's very
Exactly.
triggering.
Anything that I see with somebody else who's a podcaster, I'm like, this is so me.
No, it
This
was
is not
literally
my
so
life.
triggering, and their dynamic is like so accurate to like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
co-hosts work together and like the sibling kind of
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
that you have. And it was triggering, but I was like, this is what rich people must feel like watching Succession.
Yes.
Yeah,
know?
you're
Is
right.
this play about us?
Yeah.
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 Wow.
And I did finish it because Adam Brody is beautiful.
Yes. He
And
is.
I love him.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with him.
No, there really
No.
isn't.
And you just did it for him.
I did it for him.
So what was your rating of it, would you say?
I would say it was like a solid 5.5
Okay,
to
5.5.
6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
But it's like Emily in Paris. It's like,
Don't get me
Don't
started.
get Joe started because this is a slippery slope.
oh no.
He is.
10 out of 10, prestige television.
Yeah,
one
he's-
of the
Oh,
best
so
shows
when
of
it
all
got
time.
nominated, you were like,
Of
period.
I
course.
think it should be nominated for Oscars. Even.
Yeah.
Let's push it into the feature
That's
film category.
crazy.
Because at the end of because you have to think about it. There aren't other shows that make you feel the way that Emily makes you feel. Like you watch, you're gonna tell me did you watch the most recent season?
Yeah.
You saw her in
Gag.
Italy. You saw her in Italy Christmas time.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? I got to get to Italy for Christmas time.
Well,
Well, I don't think she.
I
Well,
was- I
I'm
was
going to let you
thinking-
know very kindly. She was certainly not in Italy at Christmas.
Was it? Oh, she was in Paris
Yeah.
in Christmas.
She was
Yeah,
somewhere
Paris
in
in
like, northern
Christmas.
France.
Northern France.
Yeah.
And then she left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's where she met her
Because
her
her
lover.
flight was
Yes,
canceled.
yeah, yeah,
Spoiler
yeah.
alert, by the way, you
Oh,
guys.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, oh.
It's been enough time.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
guys were not sorry.
Yeah.
The Emily heads are pissed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I did right this week is like visit my parents and have like a weekend off. Okay, so let's talk about destination weddings.
Okay.
When I asked you guys to come on the podcast, I was like, what do you want to talk about? There are many things in the world that are right and wrong famously.
Mm-hmm.
The world is full of wrongs, but it's also full of rights.
Yeah.
And you guys said you were so passionate about destination weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get into it. I want to hear what you guys think. What's your like genuine opinion of them?
Okay.
And then I might do a little devil's advocating
Okay.
Lovely.
Please.
and debate you.
I think that
Just the opposite of what you think.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I mean, we've talked also just about weddings, period, but adding
Mm-hmm.
the destination on top of it is like
Yeah, and we can talk about
The tip of
weddings
the
as well,
iceberg.
period.
There's a lot to say.
there's a
a lot
to
to
say.
say.
Okay.
No, please.
I was just gonna say for weddings in general, what I don't understand is like you're watching, and I've been surrounded by a lot of friends that have been planning weddings. You are actively watching your friend deteriorate, plan that wedding because they are spending. They're talking about the flowers, they're talking about the money, they're the cake, the this, the that, the that. When at the end of the day, all that matters is that you're there together with your friends and your family.
Yeah.
No one really thinks about your wedding.
Nope.
Once they leave your wedding.
Yep.
The next day, I'm like, that was fun.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what happened. But the fact that they had to spend $100,000 for that, no, it's like they need to be saved.
Yeah.
I truly, firmly believe that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about your wedding. Nobody cares about your wedding. And it's as simple as that. And I want to disclaim, I'm not talking about any of my friends' weddings.
Love their wedding.
Because if I'm in a bridal party, I'm caring. Because
Yeah.
I'm being put to laborious work.
You're made to
so
care.
yeah, exactly.
Because you
have
care
no choice.
because you love.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the fact, here's my main issue. My main issue is the culture has become, and we're speaking from a slightly skewed POV because we grew up on Long Island, and I do think that Long Island catering hall events are the
Sick.
extreme of American culture when it comes to like the cost and the food and the venues. So I don't know if this is applicable to the rest of the United States and greater North American area. And then, of course, I'm assuming worldwide audience that
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
think about
Australia.
that. Yes.
No, you just came in, right? 20 million listeners?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's because we're at the same point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're all both
20 million
million
weekly downloads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
weekly
yeah, is what it
downloads.
is.
Yeah. We are Alex Cooper.
Yeah. Correct.
I think the fact that weddings have become this farce of wealth that is not actually true to who you are is ruining people's lives. Like the idea, like you throw a party, we're throwing a Halloween party in 2 weeks. It's going to be based on our budget in terms of what our finances are in our bank accounts. So it's going to be bring your own booze. It's going
Yeah.
to be we'll have some snacks. We're going to have some food. We'll buy a few decorations. But we're not going to take out a loan to throw our Halloween party. Why, when it's your wedding, are you planning something that's $60,000 plus? You would never in your entire life spend that money on a party. Why is it like this pretend, like imaginary belief that you're this wealthy? And it's
Yeah.
actually like a curse that we have to pretend that everyone has this much money. And it's like then you go home to your normal job, your normal house. Like you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in some situations on one night of your life
Yeah.
to play pretend for no reason.
And we all know that when you add like a financial burden to anything, it makes it 10 times more stressful.
That's it. The way that your body must process that stress, I cannot even fathom.
Yeah. But okay, so now I'm going to push back a little.
Yes, please.
Let's play a little bit of devil's, as I call it, avocado.
Love
Yes.
that.
Have you ever cried at a wedding?
Like watching them like get married. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Only at the ceremony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same.
Like I'm not when they're walking into shots or whatever song.
Yeah.
I'm like, I actually gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
When
the
there's a
shots walking
groomsman
in
doing
and
a
doing the
worm.
dances.
Yeah.
Where you're like, this is so embarrassing.
Again, it's like we said this before on our podcast. They gotta hang up the hooks, the fishing hooks, the
yeah.
fishing rods, reeling them in with the fish.
Yeah.
Enough. We gotta get more creative.
No,
but
that's
I
a
have
good
cried.
point.
I
But
have
when,
cried.
cried.
you know when you're at the ceremony and you
Yes.
have like a tear stream down your face and you're like, you were just thinking on your way here, I've been spending so much money. Like
Yeah.
this is such a big deal for no reason. And then you have this moment and like I've been at a wedding where I'm like, this is what life is about. If
I
life
totally get
isn't
that.
about just really being like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know,
Fuck it. I'm gonna spend.
I'm gonna go into fucking debt
Yeah.
For this
for
for
party.
this party.
For everybody here.
For everybody here. And you better go into a tiniest small amount of debt for me
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
But I'll counterpoint that.
Yeah.
We're all discussing crying at the ceremony, which is for sure the least expensive
Yeah,
part of the wedding.
I
It
was
could
gonna
be
say free.
genuinely almost free, I feel
know,
like, in
but-
some situations.
Do you
Yeah.
think those priests are getting a little bit of, though they can't, they live
They're
in
getting,
poverty.
they're getting a kickback
They're
on
getting,
that?
well,
They
who's to
live in
say?
poverty. They do not live in
No,
poverty.
I know.
They take a vow of
They
poverty.
take a vow of poverty.
That
But they
vow
got-
is a
well,
lie.
Check their wrist. Check their wrist.
Check their net worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Priest net worth.
See what car they just got
But
out
you
of.
know, I feel like the most beautiful part is the ceremony when it's like we strip everything back. It's two people who are in love with each other and everyone they know is in that audience. That's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
And you can go to Taco Bell after and have the same party.
You're
Correct.
so right.
Yeah, have it outside. Well, I mean, not every season accounts for that.
Yeah.
But you know, get a little grass.
Yeah.
Find some grass.
Find some grass.
Because it is true. Like
Party
I've
pack.
been to so many weddings where like I've been to the most expensive weddings on the
Mm-hmm.
planet. And I will say, I feel like if you really want to stand out at this point, you gotta spend like 500 grand.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's like, and I'm sorry, that sounds maybe a little like like
that is a
paw,
little.
like I'm like I went to Morocco.
Okay, well, 500 grand sounds nuts.
She came in on a camel.
Okay.
Okay, I get
And
that.
and so for me, it's like if you want to impress me, ultimately
a-
don't even bother.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Don't
Unless
bother.
you're coming in on a camel in Connecticut, it's not gonna work
It's
for
not
me.
gonna work, babes.
Yeah.
Unless your literal like father-in-law owns a hotel in Morocco.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
not
The
gonna
picture's really
happen.
being painted now.
Yeah.
She might have got a deal.
She got a deal.
She got a deal.
And so what I'm saying is like, it's either like, oh, you spent an extra 50 grand for like those napkins or
Mm-hmm.
like the steak or like whatever. And it's like, I don't remember.
And we would never notice.
And I hate to
Yeah.
be this person because I'm a foodie, you know.
And we love that about you.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear that you love that. I will say that most of the weddings that I leave, I'm unimpressed with the food. And unfortunately,
I'm going after.
in my skewed mind, that's all that mattered to me.
Yeah.
I said all I wanted was a nice little meal. And you know what? It wasn't that great. And
Cold
we paid
even.
cold even. The steak, don't get me started. Never the way you asked for it. And you know, that's fine. But if I saw my friend go through hell and stress before her wedding, I had to pretend the day after that my steak was perfect. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
And it's not, I'm not trying to like make someone feel bad
No.
for choosing
No.
to do this. I feel bad for them. Like, I
Yes.
understand that
Yes.
it's like a societal pressure. And it's like, that's a shame because you could be so much happier.
Yeah.
So much happier.
And now you're bringing the point up of like, obviously, as good friends, we're all going to be like, the wedding was amazing.
Right.
But now I'm questioning, how genuine are we all being?
Well, have you ever seen 4 weddings?
Oh, geez.
And a funeral?
Have you ever
Oh.
seen 4 weddings on TLC?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh,
my
well.
God. Well, that's something, maybe cut the cameras. And let's get back to
Yeah.
that because
Shit, I didn't do my research.
you
No,
would
it's okay.
love for
So
weddings.
let me just give you a quick little brief.
Yeah.
4 weddings, 4 random girls. They've never met each other before. They all live in the same area, but they're all attending each other's weddings unbiasedly. And then they're going to rate every single part of their wedding.
Based
the winner
on-
gets a free honeymoon.
Oh, wait. And then, the winner gets a free honeymoon.
Free honeymoon.
And
but
it's based on the dress, the
venue,
the food.
And then I don't know what the third one.
Maybe it's like flowers. I guess that's venue.
Yeah, decor, something.
Overall
Food,
vibe.
Okay,
Whatever.
dress, overall vibe.
Overall vibe, right? And they are ruthless.
And
but
you know they're judging each other because they all want to win.
Yes.
And of course they're going to be extra ruthless, but it's still fair because they're all judging each other.
I know.
Exactly.
And that's actually maybe why you are like more open to going to weddings, because I feel like if you grew up watching 4 weddings, like I'm approaching every single wedding as if though I'm
a contestant.
Oh, you
random
guys are
person.
judges.
We're trying to win a honeymoon.
Yes, and
every
I'm
day
not
of
trying
our
to be
lives.
judgmental.
You're competing for a honeymoon.
I think that's how we move through life at
Yeah.
this point, is we're just trying to win a honeymoon.
Honeymoon.
Like, take
just
us
want
to
get
Bali.
away. So I
It's-
don't want to add judgment to any of our friends or any weddings that we attend, but I'm only, again, to your point, I do feel bad for them. I feel bad for their families, especially with the antiquated
We're
view that
acting like they were like attacked.
like they're so happy
Like
about
they
their
didn't
wedding.
make the
So
choice to like.
Genuinely politically correct about it. Like, it's
Yeah, I'm like, we're really miserable for
respect to the
But, like,
victims'
even, like,
families.
like the wife, like the woman's family is supposed to be like that. The belief the woman's family is supposed to be the one that really pays the most for the actual
Yeah,
wedding.
historically
is like
is crazy.
again. Let's change
so
the narrative.
wrong.
It's
And
so
I feel
wrong.
like there's no rules these days. So it's
No.
like people are still following those antiquated rules.
Yes.
And then it's like, we know men make more money, by the way.
Right.
So why is the woman's family paying for
It's
it?
absurd.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I will say, and maybe it is bias is coming into play, but my friends' weddings that I've attended, like I have had a blast at. You know, like I had no complaints about.
Yeah.
But I think if they had those same weddings in their backyards with food that their parents cooked or something, I would
Yes.
still have the same amount of fun.
That's such a good point.
Which is just, it just fascinates me.
Okay, here's a little kind of like point against is that, you know how it's so hard to get people to like RSVP to like anything these days, and even when they do, like the show rate is 50%. Like you have to invite a ton of people to your parties. Do you think that weddings, you almost have to spend the money so that people, if they RSVP, they're committed, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's $150 a plate, you know? So it's like then the person has to go. Whereas like if your friend would have had that wedding in their backyard,
No,
you know, no one, maybe not no one.
No one
no one would have showed up.
No one would have gone.
You're immediately not going.
I'm like, no one would have went.
But like, yeah, what if they had the wedding in the backyard and you're like, oh, it's just another barbecue, like, and you had another event come up and you're like, oh, I can't make it because like a work thing came up or something.
I mean, that's a good point. I completely understand that point. I do think the pomp and circumstance creates the need to attend. But this also raises a secondary point about destination weddings.
Yes, which we should get to.
If I may.
Yeah.
Morocco.
Morocco, yeah. So when I posted a TikTok, like maybe like when right around when you asked us what we should talk about is when
Yeah.
I posted this TikTok, because I was being berated on the internet for saying like destination weddings are a selfish choice to your friend because you're asking your friend to like invest money into your wedding when it could be, and like no one really benefits. It's not like you're going on that vacation, whatever. So many of the comments were people saying, well, you don't get it because the reason it's destination is so you don't come. We want less people to come, so it costs less money. The more expensive it takes for people to come, the more expensive like the ticket is to get to the location, the more people drop off from the wedding, the less money I have to pay for my wedding, which is to me proof positive that there is something wrong with the culture. Because don't invite those people.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
why is it an overhead business cost to invite a loved one to a wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that really opened
and
my
you're
eyes to what's happening.
strategizing like how to uninvite someone
Yes.
from your wedding.
We need to get to the bottom of the family dynamic.
And that's
You know what
actually
I mean?
why
That's
I
family therapy.
always go to a destination wedding.
I get
Because
it.
you're like, I'm spiting
'Cause
you.
I-
You don't want me there.
Bet you didn't think I
Show
was
up
going
on
to
the
show
couch.
up.
Spain the last 2 years. These are third cousins, right?
Yeah. Oh my
Like half
God.
cousins invited me, and I'm like, what's that?
They're like, whoa, you showed
They're like,
up.
oh, you're here. And I'm like, yeah, like I get to
course.
stay with like your mom, like because I'm family, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for a
Well,
place
that's
to
so
stay.
different,
That's
though. Is this like you're saying people who live in Spain who are having their wedding in Spain and you're
Oh
attending?
yeah, actually, I guess it was
That's
destination
but
for
I
me.
get it's still no, which is
Yeah.
that's just very classy of you.
Let's
say
End
Yeah.
of statement.
The destination's like French Riviera. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not saying French Riviera is you're doing it on a dime.
Yeah.
You're not, especially if they're like putting you up in a hotel and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's actually $700 a night.
Yeah.
And again, you're from Rochester. What the fuck does the French Riviera have to do with your relationship?
Yeah.
Why are we here?
Literally.
Like, why did we all
Why are
have
we
to come
gentrifying
here?
a small town for your love?
Well, I'm going to devil's avocado because another comment I was getting was, I'm from Delaware. My husband is from like Oregon. Rather than make someone fly to one of those, we chose to make them fly to Italy.
That's crazy.
And I love that
So
reaction.
meet halfway.
Right.
Let's meet halfway on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
For 8, like for some of those, it's like a 12-hour flight. I feel like from Oregon.
Oh my, can
Yeah.
you imagine?
I love the way you
Oregon?
pronounce
Oregon.
I
Oregon.
know. I like, wish I didn't say it.
Oregon.
Oregon.
I know it's very Long Island.
Origami.
It's
Oregon.
we're like Florida.
Yeah.
Oregon.
Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's wild to me because guess what? You could have picked someplace in America.
Yeah.
Because that brings up another point, which is like destination weddings outside of the country. People might have to get their passport. Some people might not even have a passport. You might
Yes.
even have to get a visa.
Imagine getting a visa for your cousin's wedding. I would never. I would barely show up to my cousin's wedding. So that's on the record.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine putting in that effort for something that there's
Well,
no
Joe,
emotional attachment.
I need to ask you something.
Oh, me?
I need to ask you something now. Because, Joe, you're dating somebody who is international.
Extremely international.
Very international.
Yeah.
What happens? What happens in a situation where
For
you're
me,
for you?
like
Let's
if
say
I
you were going to get
to
married.
Ross, it's tough.
Where's the
I think there's
wedding?
2 weddings.
Italy.
There's one. We say we're going to
Oregon.
Japan.
Oregon.
Oregon.
I would say, me and Ross, when we first started dating, we broached this issue because I couldn't possibly get into a long-term relationship without thinking about this.
Yeah.
I think there'd be a New York wedding and there'd be an Australia wedding. And it's if
That's
you can make one of
genius.
them,
Yeah.
they would be like pared down like parties more so than like a massive wedding. But it's like, I assume Ross's family and very close friends would fly in for New York, and my family and very close friends would fly in for Australia. But otherwise, it's like 2 completely separate parties.
Yeah, because
Best way to
also
do
like your
it.
lives are separate
Yeah.
too, and so like the party vibes will mesh better.
Yes.
I went to a wedding that was like just outside of New York City, and it was so easy to get to. It was like a 1-hour drive, and I don't know if it's because I was like literally like 21 when I went to this wedding, so I actually didn't have a worry in the world. Or if it's because it was such an easy wedding to get to. But I remember it being like one of the most fun weddings I ever went to. And it was like not that expensive. Like, no offense to this cousin.
She listens. She's like,
Yeah.
are you fucking serious, bitch?
It was
still
like
paying
a
it
one
off?
venue thing. Like, it was a quick, like 1, 2, 3.
She,
like,
she just walked in. She didn't have like a
yeah,
carrier.
I don't remember
No
what we had
camel.
for
No
dinner, but the party was crazy. And we drank and
Yeah.
we danced, and it was so much fun.
Well, I think
that's what
that like
matters.
that's what matters, and I know some people, and I'm not opposed to this literally at all, who are getting married and they'll do the reception, like, or they'll go to get married at a church or you
the
know
courthouse.
the court or whatever,
Cute.
and then people will show up, and then they're like, all right, you guys, I'm gonna rent out the come on everybody for the night, and I want to invite 150 people. Let's all show up. We're gonna dance our asses off. We're gonna have drinks. It's gonna be an amazing time
Yeah.
because you remember the party. You're not
Yeah.
really like, and yeah, sure, you want a sit down dinner, and the thing is, when you come to Long Island, you can't go back, because then you're talking about the cocktail hour and you're talking about the pasta course. They didn't have a pasta course. You can't even believe it.
The
and there's
Viennese
people
hour.
getting like
Wipe it.
buses.
Yeah.
But but trolleys.
Trolleys.
Oh my God.
Trolleys.
left and
I've been on
I
trolleys.
can't.
I've done too many trolleys in my life at this point.
It's mortifying actually
It's
being on a trolley.
crazy.
Yeah. In the middle of the highway.
Yeah, and that makes me think like my devil's avocado was that like maybe it needs to be expensive so that people commit. But it's like, whatever happened to just making it a big deal? Like, you as the creator of the party, you as the host,
Yeah.
you make it a big deal.
Yeah.
So like you're saying your friends who like got married at a courthouse or whatever, they don't just like send one party full. It's like, send like a physical invite.
Yeah.
Be like, this is the date. This is the date I'm getting married. Like the idea of the wedding or marriage alone should be big enough.
Correct.
Without the money aspect.
And like I think that
I agree.
what would be beautiful is like you have an intimate dinner with the ones that you genuinely love. Who your wedding party? A lot of people do like the day before they do what do they call that? The
rehearsal
dinner. Like that is the dinner, and then the next day it's like it's the party. Your family, the people that you wanted to be there, show up.
You get some crave boxes, some party boxes
Yeah.
from Taco Bell.
From Taco
Yeah.
Bell.
Line
Get-
Which
that
all
up.
weddings also have, because it's
Yes.
like
Correct.
they all do the dinner and then they all are like competing for like what's the cool late night food.
quirkiest-
We're doing
Yeah.
pizza slices.
Yeah.
And
You
we're
want
doing
churros?
Yeah.
You got Dippin' Dots. I'm like, you guys got Dippin' Dots?
I'm like, I love Dippin' Dots, but I'm like, I could also get them at my bodega.
Yeah.
Actually, I know. So it puts things into perspective. But have you been to a Long Island wedding?
I haven't.
Wow.
I would love to go.
I wish I was getting married anytime.
Oh
well,
my God. I
wedding
wish-
wouldn't be like that. But we'll
I
have to
have
bring you
a
to one.
strong feeling you'll have a Long Island wedding.
Well,
A
because the
long-
thing,
Long Island
because
wedding.
like I understand once you're in once you're in that loop of like everybody in your family goes through a wedding like that, or like it's just normal for you to be at a catering hall with 350 people.
Yeah.
You met this person once, and now they're at the wedding, and they're giving you money, and they're dancing, and they're eating your food.
That's the other thing that is so weird to me is like the giving of the money, right? So it's like, how do you guys feel about with destination weddings? Do you give a gift on top of showing up?
I have to ask
crazy.
you that because I've never been to one.
Oh. Well, I've only been to ones with families. Oh, no, actually, that's not true. I went to a friend's wedding, but I don't know how destination-y it was. South Carolina,
Okay.
Charleston.
That's pretty. That's
Destination.
pretty destination and stunning, though.
I did not give a gift. Is that bad? I also was going to, and then I fully forgot.
Okay, well, if that's the case,
And I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but I had
well-
paid for my flights from LA, by the way. I was living in LA
okay.
at the time. I paid flights from LA, 3 nights of hotels.
That's wild. I think, unfortunately, my moral compass would be like, I have to give these people a gift. We wouldn't even, if
They
I
both
was to
work in
show up to
finance.
somebody else's
How do you
house
feel about
or
now?
apartment,
They
I
didn't,
want to
miss,
bring
they
a little
didn't miss
something.
it. They didn't
No.
miss
I was
it.
like, you guys want my $150?
Yeah.
You guys each make $400,000 a year.
But they're still talking about you.
I
You know what I mean? They're like, I can't believe that girl, that bitch didn't give us $100.
I know.
But I would say I would give the gift. Unfortunately, like as much
It's
as
not that
I
I
would
didn't
probably
want to
complain about it
also.
nonstop.
Every other wedding that destination wedding I've been to, I've been with my parents.
Yeah.
So like they have always given like a really big
course.
Yeah, which is
gift,
the
and we
best.
kind of just like sign the card.
And Isa.
Yeah.
Love ya.
Love you. But I mean, like at that point, you're so far in. What's another? I guess $150 at that point.
Yeah.
You're taking
How
out
do
a
you
loan.
guys feel about you've
I
never been
think
to a
I would give the
destination
gift.
wedding?
I would
but
have to give
You
the
would give a gift.
I would have to.
I wouldn't be happy about it, and I would complain about it for the rest of my life.
Yes,
for
correct.
sure.
You would
and
take
that's
the TikTok.
honestly probably why I would give the gift, is just to have something to complain about on top of
Yeah.
it. But I know many people who have traveled for destination weddings, who have been in the bridal parties, who've had to like travel for a destination bachelorette trip and then a destination wedding, and have spent several $1,000s who have not given gifts. And I feel like that is fair.
Yeah, that's
Like
more
I
than
don't
fair.
think you should expect people who have had to travel long distances to front a lot of cash on top of everything else they fronted.
I
And
came
that's
from
the problem
LA.
with the wedding
Yeah.
system, the wedding
from
industrial
LA.
complex.
That is the problem with the wedding system. And I'm like, my question to you now is then, do you feel like you're perpetuating the system by being like, well, I am going to give a gift anyway, even though you don't want to?
Yeah, I mean,
This is like voting.
it is.
It's like
We're gonna leave this like, yeah, okay, like take down the episode, like don't release the episode. You're right. Holy shit.
I'm right, you're wrong.
Actually,
It's like I'm not trying. I guess my mission in life is not to take down the wedding complex.
No.
Like, I would love for it to change, but it doesn't affect. Like, it actually is one of those things. And like, I'm a man in primarily a woman's business. First of
Yeah.
all, like, what does my opinion matter?
Yeah.
And if someone's throwing a wedding, I know they're paying at least $150 for my seat. I'm going to cover that, no matter what it
course.
is, I think. And if that perpetuates the system, that perpetuates the system. The only thing I can control in my life is my own wedding,
Yeah.
which will be at Come On Everybody, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll get Taco Bell.
That's actually going to be amazing.
It was, I was like, oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah, I actually saw your face shift.
I was really I was like fantasizing about it. I was like, that's
Yeah.
going to be so sweet.
It's going to actually be really cute.
It'd be
for real.
really cute.
But-
Drag
Yeah.
performances.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
funny too that you're like, this is literally like voting. It's like lesser of two
Yeah,
evils.
it's
Yes.
like, am I contributing to the
Alright.
issue by doing it? It's-
Yeah.
I think also, like, we're not saying that your wedding is necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're making that choice for yourself, you're making that choice for yourself. But I think that what we're trying to say is we would hope that listeners would open their eyes to other possibilities and not have to feel the societal pressure
Yes.
to please the people that are coming to their wedding, because
Yeah.
regardless, the ones that you invite to your wedding are going to love you and want to be with you.
Yes.
Regardless of if you came in on a camel or if you fucking
just
wore
had-
a white t-shirt.
Or had
Yeah.
a camel toe.
Yes.
You know, it's like
Exactly.
it doesn't matter. We love you.
Yeah.
I love you.
And I do
Your dress
feel
is
like
stunning. Like,
that's a really good point of like sitting in your confidence,
Mm-hmm.
almost like the way that I quadruple texted you guys to come onto this
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
And it was like you guys almost like respected that more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should have spent $100,000 and we would have felt the pressure to show up.
Yeah. But instead, I was like, no, they want to do this, and I'm
Yeah.
going to follow up until they commit.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And that's what you need to do with your friends
Yeah.
and your wedding, instead of being like, I'm going to guilt trip them into coming to this thing because it's far away. It's a destination, or because I spent all this money. I feel like weddings have become this thing where it's like, oh, because you had a wedding, I have a wedding. So like, I've had friends like get me drinks before, and then they later expect me to get them a drink back.
And you're like, oh, it wasn't out of generosity of spirit.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
was just, which is like fine.
Which
It's
is
like,
fine.
oh, it was like a trade, like
It's
a
like,
normal
you owe me,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you thought in your head for a second it was just a kind gesture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where we are with weddings.
Yes,
and I
because it
owe
is
you.
that. It's you're getting the invitation, and that invitation says you're paying me back for this invitation.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, I mean, even with weddings, I know, like, you put down, I'm sure your financial friends, because I went to school for finance, which is shocking, your financial friends had a spreadsheet, and they had Isa Medina, $0. So let's say in their Excel spreadsheet.
I
in
will
their
Morgan,
say-
if you're watching and listening, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so
girl.
if you were to have a wedding,
She's moving back to
they're
New York,
gonna
too.
give you
Oh, shit.
they're gonna give you $0. So like I think it is like an IOU system that it's like Joe gave $150. They put it in the spreadsheet. So
Yeah.
if Joe was to have a wedding, I know I'm giving Joe $150.
I have
Yeah.
a notes app on my phone from my sister's wedding in 2019 of every single person who gave her a gift and the amount. And then my parents will text me to this day and say, how much did Uncle X give to Amanda for her wedding? And then they take that number, they account for inflation, and that's the amount that
They
will-
account for
they account for
inflation?
That's
inflation,
great,
and then that's
actually.
the amount that they will now give Uncle X's daughter.
I actually love that.
It's
Yeah.
a little, but it is.
It's crazy,
it's
but-
so it's so
It's so
transactional.
businessy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I just feel like that's why people are like, I don't want to talk about money. I don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah.
I don't want to blah, blah, blah. But that's why we're doing this podcast.
Yes, we're
Exactly.
talking about
We're
all of it.
talking
We're
about
talking
it.
about the
It's
tough
hard.
things.
Talking about the hard things.
And there's two sides to every story, which is
Yeah.
what we want to show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up,
Uh-huh.
I want to ask you guys at the end of the episode, like your hard stance, you know, like if you had to like stand on it, right or wrong.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to ask you guys like a rapid fire right or wrong
Okay.
of the week.
I think this was the most controversial we've ever been.
I kind of really agree, Joe.
Really?
I really do think.
Yeah, you guys are normally like, and then I went and I got fish.
Yeah. And we love fish. And if you hate fish, but we see you. We
Usually
hear
you are the one covering my ass in those situations.
Yeah, but this time we really went in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know
Feels
what?
nice.
We're famously Spotify. We love Spotify.
We love.
And if you have
Spotify.
something to say, leave a comment below.
Yes.
Comments are on, baby.
Comments
Yeah.
are on.
Comments are on. Also vote, is it right or wrong? Because I
Yeah.
do a little poll.
Okay, I love that. I mean, like you can disagree. Absolutely, it's your right to
That's what-
disagree.
Yeah.
We can have a civil conversation.
Okay, so let's do really quick rapid fire right and wrongs of the week. Okay, we talked a little bit about this, but really quickly, nobody wants this, right or wrong.
Right.
Right.
Okay, Chapel Roan setting boundaries, right or wrong?
Right.
Okay, I really hope you guys know about this. You must.
I might not.
Crazy redhead girl from TikTok.
I've
Mondo
seen
follows
some
her.
TikToks that reference her, but I don't know what's happening. But people seem to be upset
I'm gonna have to say wrong.
with no information.
People seem to be upset. I'm like, wrong.
So, really, really quick, concise thing.
Yes, please.
She was like social media friends with this other influencer, and she
Okay.
met her at an event and was like, "Oh my God, girl, I love your content." And then they like went out for drinks. And then the next day, she went on a first date that she already had planned with that girl's ex-boyfriend that she knew was her ex-boyfriend. And then she like went on a date with him, and then that girl ended up getting back together with that boy, and then outed the ginger for like planning it, for like literally intentionally going after her boyfriend, like DMing her boyfriend, wanting to be with her boyfriend, and then making a whole TikTok story about it.
Oh,
I'm gonna
And
say
so everyone's like, Sophia did nothing wrong because she wasn't actually friends with you. And if she likes the guy, she can date the guy. But also people are like, well, why would you go up to her at an event and be like, I love you, girl, I love your content,
Yeah.
and get drinks with her?
wrong.
yeah,
Wrong.
that's wrong.
Okay, now,
Oh, no.
one
Yeah.
more thing. She now has created this whole persona online from the whole drama.
Of course.
She brought it up 6
Capitalize.
months later,
Mm.
and her followership has quadrupled. Like, she went from like 100,000 followers on TikTok to
a
like now 1
million.
million. And she's crazy. And I think it's funny.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's lost in it though, because that's the thing. It's like you're getting those followers. I mean, when you're in the game, you're trying to get the followers because you know it's gonna be getting you something. Down
Yeah.
The line. So
Yeah.
she's like seeing the engagement, and she's like, I might as well just keep spiraling off the deep end.
Yeah.
Wrong. Wow. Wrong.
And I love the way you say
Judge
it. Wrong.
Judy.
Judge Judy.
I pivot my next career as Judge
Wrong.
Judy. Wrong.
Wrong.
I'm gonna have to do my own research.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to
Love
do my
that.
own research.
Okay,
I'll get
I didn't know
back
we
to
were
you.
allowed to do that.
I thought you said hard stance.
I kind of said like the whole thing is hard
Okay,
sand.
then I'm gonna say wrong based on the beginning of it.
Okay.
Maybe she's found a way to do it, but I don't fuck with deceit. I don't fuck with lies. I don't fuck with ulterior motives. And
Yeah.
it seems like it was founded on that, and that would make me never trust that person.
It was found.
But if she was to be able to build this following and she branches off and she's doing something else besides continuing the conversation, sure. I think that she's good.
But
Yeah.
she founded this on something deceitful.
Yeah, no, that's
Rocky
gonna be
Wrong.
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 Straight to jail.
Bring in the dancing lobsters.
Yeah. I would love that. Dancing shrimp.
Too soon.
Bring in the
I'm
dead
so
shrimp.
sorry.
Bring in the dead shrimp.
Shrimp tails.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid to go home.
I'm so scared.
It's gonna be a
for you.
bloodbath in there.
Okay. Right or wrong voting.
Right.
Amazing. Okay, right or wrong, Troy Sivan saying he might go back into the closet because he's so single that a lot of women want to date him, and he's like, maybe I'll just date a woman.
You've been there, right?
Whoa, I haven't necessarily been there. Yeah, no, I have been there.
I feel
I've
like
also
you.
said I've joined the priesthood.
Yeah, so either option.
Either option.
The poverty for the
Yes.
poor priest.
I don't think that he actually needs to do that.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
actually going to do that. So I
He
mean,
can actually get
okay, but
literally
Honestly,
whoever he
wrong. He's being
anyone.
annoying.
He's being annoying.
Yeah.
You can get anybody. Look at you. Look
Yeah.
At you. Yeah.
You are the when you Google define twink,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a picture of Troy Sivan comes up.
You're
Yeah.
successful. You're good looking. You're slim. You're looking. You're dancing.
You have 100 pack.
You sing 100
Yeah.
pack. Girl, just because the girls like you, you can put yourself out there.
But
It really ultimately is giving emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
Because you really could have anyone you wanted, and
Yeah.
like you don't have that right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's busy.
He's busy.
He's busy.
Okay, well, before we wrap up, we need the hard take.
Mm.
Are destination weddings right or wrong? And you cannot think about it.
Okay.
I think a destination wedding, for the sake of it being a destination wedding with no emotional or literal attachment to the location in which we are going, is a bit of a selfish choice to put on your friends. With that being said, I don't think I can speak on behalf.
Holy hell.
And I'm usually like so steadfast in my opinions. I don't know why I'm terrified.
Why?
I think they're wrong.
Okay.
I think they're wrong. Let's just say it. I think it's
I
just
thought you were
annoying.
going to plot twist me and say they were right.
They were right.
I really have my opinion has really changed, even though we all kind of were on the same page the entire time. I really do think I'm a lot less intense about it. I do get that there's so much pressure to have these fantasy fairy tale weddings from the day you're like born, especially as a young girl. I feel like it's always pushed on you. So I get falling for the trap of it, but I'm not going to judge you for it. But I do think, to your point, open the POV, consider other options.
Okay, so kind of like a wrong but fine.
Yeah.
Like a wrong sun, fine rising.
Yes.
Correct. And I feel like we both were coming in here like ready to start swinging. And I think that we're putting the fists away. And I think that I do believe that it's from actually you opened my Joe, you actually opened my eyes. I do believe a destination wedding is wrong if your intention is behind it that you don't want people to show up to your wedding. There's clearly an ulterior motive there. And if you would love a destination wedding, that's why people go on honeymoon. So if you're looking for a vacation, you got that vacation.
Go on vacation.
So go on vacation, girl. Relax. You guys got that. You don't need to spend a week with your guests. You love them. They love you. And they would do that in Connecticut.
That sounds like hell to me. They're wrong. I'm sorry. The idea of spending extended time with like 60 people that I know, hell.
It is crazy because as soon as you were saying that, I was like, wait, you could just plan a trip with like 12 to 15 people.
Yeah.
And like that would be so much fun.
Yes.
Again, let's go to the British Virgin Islands.
Back
intimacy. The three of us should do that.
We actually should do that.
I think my final statement is let's bring back intimacy when it comes to the people that you want at your wedding. And maybe that's a nice little dinner and then you have a ceremony. Maybe it's a 15-person trip because you love everybody you're with, but it doesn't need to be invited 300 people to only have 20 show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I love how seriously you guys took this.
Yeah, very serious. We're like, I'm not smiling.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having us, truly.
I had such a fun time debating destination weddings with you. If people want to find you or follow you, where can they do that?
Okay. You can find us across all social media platforms at Good Children Pod. You can watch our video on Spotify as well. We love Spotify. And then I'm personally on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella.
And I'm on Instagram at Joe Hegyes.
Yes, they are. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us. Can't wait to go to your wedding.
I know.
Yeah.
Morocco.
Perfect.
Camelback.
Yeah, and just know it's going to be $1 million.
And I'm going to give you a gift.
Please.